Back on Sports 225. Every Monday at 5:15, I go on the radio with Matt Moscona on 104.5 ESPN. And you could make the argument that we set the medium back decades, or that it's fun and irreverent, or that sometimes it's insightful and that it's humorous and poignant. And I go off on tangents. And, you know, I think it's all the above. And Matt Moscona joins me to dispute or refute or whatever.
So should I, in this segment, aim to set back this medium the way you set back my professional medium every Monday?
Have you ever watched this show?
On occasion.
Then you know it would be difficult to set. It would be difficult to set the medium.
My wife watches the show because she likes when I'm on, so she'll set the DV, which amazes me, Lee, because I've done radio now for almost 10 years. You can literally hear me on radio any day for almost a decade now. But when I'm on TV, it's a scramble to set the DVR.
Yep.
Or if something pops up in the newspaper, my parents will cut out the newspaper and save it for me.
Yeah.
It was one of the things that I'm in a broadcast medium every day.
It was one of the things that frustrated me terribly when I used to work for the Advocate, and you know, sometimes I'd have a column out there, you know, with my little mugshot, and the column would take maybe 8 hours to write, because you'd craft it and you'd work it and you'd go back, and then you'd walk away from it and you'd go back and you'd change words and you'd pour your blood and your soul into this writing.
You bled on your column?
Sometimes, and that's why it's you know, it's red all over. Oh, brumpa. You have to think about that.
You misspelled
what's
it.
Black
R-E-D,
and white?
not R-E-A-D.
What's black and white and red all over? A newspaper. So anyway, the point being is that I would do that and think that I was doing something significant and hear from no one.
Yeah.
No phone calls, no emails, no letters, even in the pre-internet days, nothing. Get on TV, say one funny, silly thing, or make a joke or whatever, and you hear from people all the time. Hey, I saw that, you know, they'll stop you in the grocery store, you'll get the email, you'll get the thing. And now with all the social media, you know, you get instant feedback on things.
But do people generally read the byline in a newspaper?
Well,
that's probably why. If you're on television, they can see, oh, that's Lee.
Right.
Whereas if they're reading something, it's how many people honestly take the time to read the byline and remember who wrote it? They just know where they read it.
And you're good at that, though, because I mean, I remember earlier this week you complimented me for a story I did that was in the Advocate about Ben Sheets of the Braves, or you talked about something that Les East wrote in the Advocate, and then, you know, other writers. But, you know, we're all part of this, you know, media fraternity, and then you have the print guys or the writing guys on the show, just like I did. I mean, earlier in the show we had Hunt Palmer, who his writing is outstanding at BayouBengalsInsider.com.
Yeah. Well, when it's your friends, you tend to pay more attention.
Right.
Just like whenever you'd write a column, I'm sure your mother would cut it out and say, Lee, look, I saw this. Isn't it your name on there? Just like mine does.
One of the great influences in my journalism life, of all things, was my grandmother, my late grandmother, who was a big newspaper person. And it's from her that I inherited the ability to do many things at once. She would actually work the crossword puzzles, look at the newspaper, watch TV, and listen to the radio all at one time.
If you're into brevity, you can just say multitasking instead of doing many things at once.
She did that too. Anyway, she used to, when she lived in Miami, and she would cut out the sports section and the best articles every day, put the best ones in an envelope, and mail them to me.
Lee,
and I would read
this.
That's right, and I would read them because I wanted to read the good sports writers.
Yeah. Did Grandma Feinswald, was she there in the internet age?
No, unfortunately not. But she is the one who took me to the movies in 1967. For those of you who were that young, to see The Odd Couple. When I saw the movie The Odd Couple, and it was The Odd Couple when I said, "Oh yeah, sports writer, good idea." And that's how I got the idea to become one.
It's kind of like you and me.
What did you see?
In this very moment.
What did you see?
No, nothing. I'm just saying The Odd Couple, this very moment, you and me.
Maybe you watched Radio Days, or the movie where the guys where Philip Seymour Hoffman was out on the boat. You know, the one, you know.
Oh, Pirate Radio?
Pirate Radio.
Yeah, I never saw it, but I knew what you were talking about.
Rent it.
Yeah, I'm not a big movie guy, honestly.
I know you're not.
That's why I got this movie poster behind me, which doesn't make a lot of sense, because I've never seen that movie.
He's never seen Blazing
any
Saddles.
of the others that are around here that you have.
You've never seen Stripes?
Slapshot? Nope, never seen any of them.
Caddyshack? Over on the other
God,
side?
I've seen Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
Yeah, that's over there, isn't it? What else you got around here?
So, yes, the answer is yes, we are going to set the medium back. Matt,
I expect to see like a Betty Boop somewhere around here.
Betty Boop.
It just feels like...
Betty Boop is.
I don't know what Betty Boop is. How would I bring up Betty Boop if I didn't know what Betty Boop was, or who that was?
Oh, gosh. At some point, we'll actually talk about sports. Matt Moscona is here. He does a radio show every day, Monday through Friday, on 104.5 ESPN from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And he is blessed with really good producers who line him up good guests, but he works hard. And we're back on Sports 225, and Matt Moscona is still trying to make sure our audio is synced up right. Oh, gosh. If you're just tuning in, the things that you've missed, I talked to Hunt Palmer of BayouBengalsInsider.com about some things LSU, and then Hunt and Cade Wassan broke down the upcoming prep football season in the local area. They went through all 5 classes, and it was good stuff, so I recommend you check that out if you missed it when I posted online or for some of our various replays. This show airs first time 7 p.m. Thursday, 10:30 p.m. Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Friday, and 6:30 p.m. Monday, all on Cox 4 in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. And all of that being said, Matt Moscona's here, and
you want a prediction or something for the football season?
Sure. Yeah, because you won't be back on Sports 225 before then.
Before the start.
No, I'd like to know this thing.
LSU's going to go 14-0 and win the national championship.
Wow.
And last year, some may say, well, that's a homer pick. It's not. Last year I picked this team to go 10-2. I thought in the previous 6 years that Les Miles had been in Baton Rouge, LSU had never lost fewer than 2 games. So I figured they'd lose in Tuscaloosa last year, and I figured there'd be another game where they typically had that slip. And there were some trap games. At Tennessee, I think, could have been a trap last year. But that team exceeded every expectation, and I think this team, even without Tyrann Mathieu, is a more veteran team. Let's not forget that last year LSU averaged 38 points a game. That led the SEC. 38 points a game without a quarterback. They have a quarterback. They have 6 running backs, a veteran offensive line, and 3 All-Americans on defense. Even without Tyrann Mathieu, this team with that schedule is going to go undefeated, and they are going to win the national championship.
That's bold, and there are just so many variables, at some point. But I think that the opportunity to have a passing attack, and I think it was Hunt who said what a big difference Zach Mettenberger is going to make on 1st and 10 and 3rd and 8. And then, I'm a huge Kenny Hilliard fan, and I know they're going to share the wealth and stuff there. But I really think that the double dimension of Mettenberger being able to throw when needed, and Kenny Hilliard, if he gets the ball enough, gaining yard after yard after yard. Well, there's and I know Michael Ford and Alpha Blue and Spencer Ware, who
don't forget Jeremy Hill, Lee. Yeah. Jeremy Hill looks spectacular. And the first scrimmage this team had, Jeremy Hill was the leading rusher.
No, would you be surprised if the top 2 running backs for LSU at the end of the season were Kenny Hilliard and Jeremy Hill?
Yes.
You would be?
Only because I think at the beginning of the season, they're not going to get the reps that the veteran guys will at the beginning. But I think you'll see a cluster of 4 running backs all over 600 and 700 yards, all within 150 of each other. And it may shake out. I mean, let's not forget Michael Ford was the leading rusher last year, where it seemed like Spencer Ware was the guy.
Yeah, and then, as an aside to what you were saying, certainly there's every reason to think that the LSU defense will be one that can, dominate in almost every game that
they're
it plays.
Going to be spectacular. Yeah. I mean, this team is so talented and so good, and they have a favorable schedule. They're going to be, if they're not playing in Miami, that will be one of the biggest upsets in the SEC this year.
Wow. Well, you talk about a favorable schedule. Every day, Monday through Friday, from 3 to 6 on 104.5 ESPN, Matt Moscona is there, and he gets guests from all over the SEC, occasionally around the country, and then many of us here locally. And it's always fun to come on. Mondays at 5:15.
Yeah, we'll look forward to it.
And at Matt Moscona for Twitter.
On Twitter, at Matt, spell it right, Moscona. A lot of vowels, Lee. People mess that up sometimes, but it's okay. I've dealt with it my whole life.
Well, Feinswag's got a lot of vowels, too. And then you throw in the Lee, and I got a bunch, too. Yeah. Thanks to Hunt. Thanks to Cade. Thanks to Matt. Thanks to John Williams for being our production director off camera. And thanks to me for putting up with Matt Moscona. And, hey, clap. I'm Lee Feinswag. Thanks for watching Sports 225.
At carnival time by Baton Rouge Bay, that's the site of my story. At Spanish Town Mardi Gras, things can get blurry. See the mowers marching, prizes fill the sky. This Spanish Town Mardi Gras, may it never never die.